We gotta talk about some big ol' meaty news coming out of Washington today. Because after months of hemming and hawing and just general dysfunction in Congress, some of the biggest and most controversial legislation of the year has finally been signed into law. Because we're talking about a provision that could result in the nationwide ban of TikTok, as well as $95.3 billion in aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Because like I talked about earlier this week, Speaker Johnson, despite opposition from most far-right members of his party, finally just did his job and let the House vote. And notably there, he had the House vote on the aid to each country and the TikTok provision separately to prevent opposition to any one measure from tanking the whole bill. With that legislation then going to the Senate as a single package that required only one up or down vote to pass, and the Senate yesterday voting overwhelmingly to approve it. And notably there, 9 Republicans who opposed a version of this bill back in February changed their minds and they voted yes. And just this morning, Biden officially signed the bill into law and saying the path to my desk was a difficult path. It should have been easier and it should have gotten there sooner. But in the end, we did what America always does. We rose to the moment. It's gonna make America safer. It's gonna make the world safer, and it continues American leadership in the world, and everyone knows it. And so with that said, let's get into the specifics. Right, as far as the aid, the largest chunk of it, roughly $61 billion, is going to Ukraine, with the main question now just being, is it too late? Though in the face of this delayed aid, Ukrainians are still fighting hard, and actually they struck 2 oil depots within Russia just today. Though also, Putin has made significant gains in eastern Ukraine in the past few weeks, with him also reportedly preparing 100,000 troops for a massive summer offensive. And actually, to that point, 15 Republican senators voted against yesterday's legislation primarily because of their opposition to the Ukraine aid. With Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, who abstained from the vote, saying Congress was bankrolling a war that has zero chance of a positive outcome. Though notably, that also wasn't Tuberville's only problem with the bill. He was also opposed to the fact that 9 of the $26 billion going towards Israel was for humanitarian assistance in Gaza, with him claiming that money would just be immediately used to line the pockets of Hamas. Though notably, on the flip side of this, you had progressive senators who opposed the bill because they said they couldn't support sending more offensive weapons to Israel, with them pointing to the fact that the government's campaign in Gaza has killed tens of thousands of people and created a hunger crisis, with that including Democrats Jeff Merkley, Peter Welch, as well as Bernie Sanders, with actually Sanders also expressing concern about whether that $9 billion for humanitarian aid would actually help Palestinians, especially as there have been widespread reports that Israel has restricted aid to Gaza in what may amount to a war crime.
We are now in the absurd situation where Israel is using U.S. military assistance to block the delivery of U.S. humanitarian aid to Palestinians. If that is not crazy, I don't know what is. But it's also a clear violation of U.S. law.
Now from there, we can move on to Taiwan, where specifically the $8 billion is going to be going towards the broad purpose of security in the Indo-Pacific, right? And basically, this is all about countering Chinese influence in the region, which is why, unsurprisingly, China has come out in opposition to the measure, though that also kind of leads us to the whole TikTok ban situation, which also, at least according to lawmakers, has to do with the Chinese threat to national security. Now, to be clear, supporters of this ban have argued this is not actually a ban, because what the law technically does is require that the Chinese company ByteDance sell TikTok within 270 days. And if it does not do that, the app will be prohibited from US app stores and internet hosting services. But of course, many say that is effectively a ban, even if that's not what you want to call it. And in fact, TikTok CEO actually took to his platform earlier today to say basically that.
Make no mistake, this is a ban. A ban on TikTok and a ban on you and your voice.
Them notably going on to say that TikTok would challenge the law in court, and with that, the legal argument against the ban, or the not ban, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, is that it is a clear violation of the First Amendment, right? That's what they're arguing. And with that, some experts say that the company has a real case, with one potential outcome being that the ban is blocked for multiple years while the legal battle plays out. Which is actually why I'll close with this. Sometimes our shows or our videos, they're demonetized, they're suppressed, they just disappear. And now, with the threat of an entire platform possibly just going bye-bye where we have an established audience, it is a great time to mention PhilTV. Not only is it a reliable hub so you can make sure that you get this daily news show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or here on YouTube, but also, we just started testing it about a week ago, we now offer a paid subscription so you can get your show that you love every single day at the same time we post here, or even sometimes a little bit before, all ad-free. No pre-rolls, mid-rolls, post-rolls, no burn-ins. Right now, with this soft launch, it's just ad-free shows, and also like you can get an app on your phone that works nice and clean. And to be clear here, no existing content is getting paywalled. This is not what the beginning of that Watcher TV scenario was. The goal, yes, is to eventually provide some behind-the-scenes stuff and other features for subscribers. We're just historically an ad-supported show. We will continue to be an ad-supported show, but also, you know, we have this offering, especially because I've seen a number of people saying, hey, I want to support the show in a more direct way. I don't, that goes beyond sponsors or buying clothes. And yeah, actually, for those that want to sign up to PhilTV today, you can get 50% off your first month. But that said, back to the main point of the story, I'd love to know your thoughts on any of the aid packages as well as this potential TikTok ban.